Hello. Before you start, there will be a review. I just thought I'd have a quick word on the topic of repaints. And what I've done is I've grabbed as many things as I can that are effectively just repaints. You've got Reverb and Knockout, you've got the three little guys I've just reviewed, you've got Scorponok and Parallon, you've got Starscream and Thundercracker, Hardhead and Quake, and two knockoff Bumblebees, and three Transformers Prime Minicon hammers of varying colours. Pardon me. Now, repaints. Repaints is something that's gone all the way back to G1. I mean, no one complained that there was Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywalker. No one complained because they all had distinct personalities. We knew them and we liked them. That's fine. But when they just throw things at us in multiple colours, it just screams lazy. I mean, like Prowl, Blue Streak, and Smokescreen, I believe it was, were all the same figure in G1. They did it all the time, and no one batted an eyelash. I mean, maybe the adults did, but us kids, we didn't care. We were like, the characters are awesome, so I like it. And so, it depends what they do with it. I mean, sometimes it's very lazy. I mean, like, these Bumblebees, I know the knockoffs, but I'm quite happy with the red one. The green one is kind of pointless. I don't really care so much. These guys, I got him originally because I was only going to get so many, and I kind of got pulled into the whole thing. He came with a multi-pack, and he came with, pardon me, I'm burping off screen, sorry, and he came with Crazy Bolt. So I ended up with three of them, and they're all the same, and quite frankly, it's pointless having more than one. It's stupid. Quake, as I did in Quake's review, the different head, the paint job, the callback to the original G1 figure, he gets away with it because he can reference something. It's, he and even stood next to each other, they've got a completely different vibe. It's not, well, it is immediately obvious that the same figure, but you know what I mean? They've got a different feel to them, and that's fine. Scorponok and Parallon, I know it's the different head. I imagine Takara or someone will do that in proper Beast Wars Scorponok colours, and it'll look even better. But they've got different things, and again, they were both in the cartoon. They've both got completely different characters, so you can kind of argue it. These two, again, the paint schemes just make them completely different characters. The two, the Starscream and the Thundercracker, they've done a lot with the paint, and they do make them look distinct. But if it wasn't for the fact that I know it's Starscream and Thundercracker, it's just the same thing in different colours. You know what I mean? It's based on the character and what kind of tone it gets you. If you've got no attachment to either a version and they're just the same thing in different colours, then who cares? I mean, Combiner Wars have done, and I know the worst one is Alpha Bravo, I know. But they've done the same figure in, various different colours with a different head. I know Wheeljack's got a different body as well, but, they spat out the same thing in different colours and just, we've had to buy them. Because if not, you don't get limbs for your robots and stuff. But, at least with Titan's Return, they've done things like Scourge and Highbrow, which are effectively the same figure, but you wouldn't have guessed. They've got the same shoulder pieces, they've got the same internal mechanism. They are effectively the same figure, but because they've done so much different with them, you can see them as different characters, and they are very different figures. But some of the internal mechanism are based on the same thing. Okay? And then sometimes retooling doesn't actually work. And I'll refer you to what was his name? Blast Charge, something like that. And Megatronus. Megatronus is a good figure. He's quite undersized for what he is, but he's a good figure. Blast Charge is just Megatronus turned into Bludgeon, but do you care? does this appeal to you? I'm pretty sure they have just used this, painted it up the right colours and turned it into bludgeon. I think they might have turned a couple of bits, like, might have made these eyes more sort of like angry looking, but you know what I mean? They have actually gone ahead and turned it into bludgeon, I think. I think I've seen that. But who cares? I mean, I got this guy because I was bored and I couldn't find anything else, basically. But this is I don't want to say it's rubbish, but you know what I mean? It's not good. This is alright, this is kind of cool. I mean, he was great in the series, so I've got an attachment to him, but him, I don't care at all. So this is what I mean. Sometimes even retooling something isn't going to help. Sometimes a fresh lick of paint will do the job, and sometimes a retool just still won't help you. So it's a fine line with repaints, but I suppose if anything, give them some kind of personality. Give them something. I mean, this head sculpt is fantastic. I mean, Hardhead was... I mean, I don't think that's G1 Hardhead personally, but he's a very humdrum, straightforward, angry, fighty kind of guy. But this guy just has such personality with the little lightning bolts on the shoulder and stuff. It works. So I don't mind having two figures that are exactly the same. Effectively. And that, after 6.5 minutes, brings us on to the subject of this video. Time to return Krok. This is apparently, well, it's based on one of the Action Master figures, and I mean really, Action Masters? Really? But fine, okay. And the colours are so horrible and garish and G2. It's actually really cool. I'm sorry, it is. This purple's a lot more pastel than my camera's picking up with this lighting, but you know what I mean. But it's gross and it's ugly and I love it. It's very G2 1990s bright vibe, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that kind of colours. So I kinda can't hate it, even though it's just a repaint. And it's a repaint of, as I've already reviewed, Skullsmasher. And look at the two of them. I mean, I know he's half pink, you know what I mean? But that's how he was in the cartoon. And that's 80s. This is 90s. It's like generational combat. But whereas he is, even with his pink, he is down to, he's down and he will kill you. This guy just seems like he's just out to go to a rave or something, Someone give him a dummy. It's really weird. Or pacifier. You ever seen people go to raves and stuff and they got like dummies or pacifiers in? How weird's that? But just the neon colours, man. And I was going to have to transform Skullcruncher during this, but the video's gone on too long, so you'll have to take my word for the robot comparison. Or I'll slip it in at the start of my next video or something. But just, it's just, wow. So the colour scheme's just hilarious, and I'm going to transform him quickly. Pop that off, and I suppose we should do the head master. Sorry, Titan master, very quickly. He's very plain. Head's turn, so he's incredibly plain. There's nothing much to him. There's no paint on him. The end. So we'll transform him, and we'll leave it like that for now, because I'm not going to show you the face just yet. I'll close this back up, and I have done the mod, as I have for Skullcruncher. That is to say, I pulled a couple of screws out of his legs. Those screws in there, I've pulled those out, so I can do the heel fix. Because, as it's pretty much the exact same figure as Skullcruncher, he has got the same balance issue with no heels. So pull it out, flip it around, slide it in. If anyone doesn't know that, check out the Skullcruncher review. I'll try and put it in this, but I might not. If I don't, it wasn't my fix. I found it somewhere else. I've linked the video in Skullcruncher's hip fix review thing. You know what I mean. Wow, 10 minutes and I'm only getting to transforming him. That's already in. Why am I still pushing it? Oh, you know what? I'm not... It's late. I haven't eaten. I can't be bothered. Fold the head down on the back. I'm not going too much into transformation because you've already seen it. Oh, you should have done. Watch my other reviews. Haha. Okay, so that's the body transformed, and the head is that ugly thing with potentially 2 machine guns or something built into the head. Obviously I like a lot of Gundams, but it's this really weird, ugly head, really strange thing, really weird. And this one's a little bit loose. I've tried fixing it, but it doesn't seem to want to do it. But whatever, it's fine. It's not that bad. You can live with it. And just look at this colour scheme. That is atrocious. Ugh, look at that. Yeah. And I love it. He's got the same weapons and stuff, and I don't even bother trying to split them. I just stick it in his hand. There you go, he's got one big gun. Call it a day. Differentiate the characters a little bit more. But you know what the best thing about this character is? You know what the best thing, the thing that really, really gets me? Is apparently Krok here is Cybertron's greatest soccer player. How am I not supposed to love him? This is ridiculous. Transformers playing soccer, and he's like the best one. So you got him like running around the pitch, kicking the ball, like, whoosh. What's that all about? That's hilarious. And apparently this is supposed to be his football team's colours. Sorry, his soccer team's colour if you're American. And that's why he's so garish. It's his team colours. That's hysterical. So that allows me to love this character. Because they've made him ridiculous. They've made him funny. They've given him... Yeah, I mean, most of this is TF Wiki, don't get me wrong. Always TF Wiki your figures, kids. If you don't, get your parents to. But how are you not supposed to love this guy? Really? It's hilarious. So, I know I felt really stupid picking him up, and Quake, because they're just repaints. But I don't care. I love this thing. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. And what's funnier, Krok and Quake are supposed to be being trained by Skullcruncher. So I've got this image of like Skullcruncher, Mindwipe, and Weirdwolf being like the grizzled old veterans teaching these two like it's boot camp. And that's hilarious. It's so funny. I mean, that's brilliant. It makes me laugh. I'm sorry, it does. I know it's really stupid, but this is a great figure. If you never picked up Skullcruncher, or even if you did, if you can see the humour behind it and you don't mind it and you think the colours are fun, pick him up. He's good. He's fun. Quake is fantastic because he's a brilliant homage to the G1 character. This is a homage to an Action Master. Was it Action Master? Yeah. And I hated the Action Masters because they didn't transform, so pointless. Whatever. But he's so funny. He's so funny. So funny. I'm just going to keep saying that, sorry. But no, he amuses me. I would transform Skullcruncher, but I can't be bothered. I haven't got time. But yeah, so on the topic of repaints, it's not the fact that they're repainting the same figure all the time, or that we're getting multiples of each mould. You've got to give that mould personality. You've got to give it something. If you do that, we don't mind. I mean, this guy is just a repaint with a different head. Who cares? But because he's so ridiculous, so funny, and the colours are so ridiculous, I love him. He's fantastic. I don't mind having him. Quake, same thing, different head. G1 callback. I loved that figure. So I love him. And that's what you got to do. That's how you got to treat them, and that's how you've got to deal with your knockoffs, your repaints and your remolds. I mean, these guys, the green one's awful, the red one's brilliant. It was only the fact that the sets that I had were 2 packs and you had to have a Bumblebee with them, but whatever. These guys, they're a multi-set. I wouldn't have bought 3. You know, if I knew and it had to cost more, I'd have just bought 1, but you know. And these guys, there's 4 of these. I've got 2, I want the other 2. Just because the mould's fantastic and the colour schemes are given distinct personalities. Or at least these 2 are. I couldn't swear to the other 2. Backfire looks pretty good. Trenchmouth. I like the name, but we'll have to see. So yeah, this is kind of a rant discussion, whatever you want, with a review slipped in, because I'm sneaky like that. And yeah, like I say, give us a character, give us personality, and we'll allow you to have a repaint. If you just try and sneak a repaint past us, that's when you get the complaints. So this has been 15 minutes, and at least a third of that was just me talking about this stuff. So. But Skull Crunch is still my baby. He was the first one I wanted, and I love this guy. Love him. Still not keen on the way the weapon stores on either of them, but who cares, whatever. So, yeah. I should be ugly, I should be wretched, and I'll be wearing this football kit soon. In the next one. See you when I'm repainted.